Hey there, my gorgeous friends on the internet. Before I start this episode, I do have a very important announcement to make for everyone that has enrolled in my courses at developedbyed.com, especially the Next 13 course. I've received a couple of messages from you guys saying that you struggled through certain areas and certain chapters of the course, and I just want to apologize for that because when I released the course, Next 13 was still in beta, and my god, since then, so many new features got added. Not only that, but like the packages all changed, like Next Off got completely revamped since then. So if you were unhappy or struggling with it, I'm more than happy to give you a refund. Just message me. But for the rest of you, just so you know, I'm working really hard on re-updating the Next 13 course, the e-commerce website, and then I'm gonna start updating the rest of the courses following. And I want to thank my wife for that because she is editing all these videos now, so I just have more time to produce higher quality courses and videos. So thank you again for all the support. Again, I want to apologize, and all the updates will be free. So if you're enrolled, just wait for the update and we'll be Gucci. So let's have a look at pseudo classes and pseudo elements, because at the end of the day, they are a core feature in CSS and they do get underused sometimes, but they're really powerful. And I feel like once you get a good grip on them and really understand how they work, you can really improve your designs. So what does pseudo even mean? Well, it's a fugazi, it's a wazi, it's a woozy, it's a fairy dust. It's all fake, it's imaginary. So what does the pseudo prefix even do? Well, essentially it allows us to reference a class or an element that's not real. What should be not real? Well, not real in terms of it's not in your HTML or part of your DOM. Okay, so we are virtually creating an element for styling purposes. So let's start off with pseudo classes because they're quite simple to understand. I have a button here with just some basic styling on the screen, and what a pseudo class essentially allows you to do is to style a element up depending on what state it is in. So right now the button is like chilling, right? It's in like a chill state. However, if I hover over it, then it becomes in a hover state. And there's loads of other ones like active or focus or target or visited, like maybe you have a link and you clicked on it. The color is gonna change on it. And they're using pseudo classes to do that. And you can use a simple colon to create a pseudo class. Colon? Is it colon? Yes, it is. So I can copy over this background color here from the top and paste it down below. And all I'll do is hover over it and just decrease and make it a tad bit darker. So now if I hover over it, as you can see, now our button has a different state that indicates that our cursor is over it. Now there's about like 50 pseudo classes out there, and most of them you're probably not gonna use, so I'm gonna give you the most popular ones that are gonna come in handy for you. So we saw hover, we also have active, and active essentially is triggered when the element is being interacted with. So if I click on it, as you can see, it applies. The focus pseudo class is one of the most important ones. As you can see, I have 3 inputs here, and if I click through them or hit tab, it's really hard to see where you are really. All you have is a small little line here telling you. However, we can use the pseudo class focus to highlight where the user is. So I just added a border of 4 pixels solid with a nice pinkish color. So now if I tap through this, as you can see, it becomes very, very obvious what the user is interacting with. Let's say when I click this button, I'm actually making a payment. So I'm sending a request to like a database and it's gonna process our payment, and cool. Well, one thing we don't want to do is be able to click this multiple times. We don't want to send multiple requests to process that payment. So what we can do is actually add a pseudo class of disabled, and we can style it up any way we want. And when we actually send that request through, we can disable this through JavaScript if we add a disabled here. And as you can see, that's going to change the styling of this. So I can go here and do like a background of black this time with a lower opacity. Let's say I have an input email here. I can apply styles depending if it's a valid or invalid email using these 2 pseudo classes. So as you can see, that's not an email, so it's gonna be red. If I add a gmail.com, that's gonna be a legit email, so now the border is blue. I have 3 paragraphs here, and as you can see, you can also use pseudo classes to target certain elements. So I can target the first one and last one using last and first child. You can also use nth child. So if I do 1 here, it's gonna select the first paragraph, and then 2, and then 3. You can also add odd here, which is going to select the first one, but not the second one, but the third one and not the fourth one. Or you can even do even, which is going to do the opposite. So I have a div here with a class of post, some paragraphs, and a button. So what if I want to grab both and style them up? So you do something like this: post, button, maybe you want to do post, paragraphs as well. And then I can apply my styling any way I want. So as you can see, that applies to all of it. There's a more compact version of this that you can use. If you do a post and then say is, like that, and in the parentheses, you can add the elements that you want to target. So P, comma, and I'll do button, and hit save. And as you can see, it's the exact same thing. If you have an anchor tag and you visited the website, as you can see, it changes color. You can also customize that with the visited pseudo class. Brain fart. So if I change the color of this, let's do red and hit save. As you can see, you can also customize that. Let's have a look at pseudo elements. They essentially let you create a virtual element that you can style up without adding any more content in your HTML. So I have a paragraph text here in my HTML, and we learned that we can use a colon to create a pseudo class. To create a pseudo element, we need 2 colons like that. So I highly recommend you to look at these. I'll do the more popular ones. There's not too many of these. So let's do first letter. If you saw one of those articles before where they do a big letter at the beginning of their blog post, this is how they do it. So I can do a color of blue maybe here, like that. And as you can see, it's blue. Now it's quite small, so let's increase the font size of that to 4 rem. And there you go. How cool is that? And what I can also do is just float this to the left like that if I want to. And then let's give a line height of 1 to push it a bit up. And I can also separate it with some space if I add a margin in line end. Let's use like 0.5 rem or something just to push it a bit further to the right. I have a paragraph here, and I want to show you 2 new pseudo elements that are quite popular. So the first one is going to be before, and there's also one called after. And what these do essentially is they create a child element inside our paragraph. Okay, so if I do before, and if I do content here, now this is mandatory. So you have to add content even if it's an empty pair of strings. But here I can go and just add more content. And as you can see, it's gonna apply it before our paragraph. And as you can see, it doesn't add anymore. We're not doing any HTML, more HTML here. Let's say I have an image here on the screen and I have this div, which is gonna be our container. Now, if I wanna put like a backdrop on this or just make this a bit darker, I need to make another div in here, like an empty div, and basically put this on top of the image and then lower the opacity. However, with the pseudo class, we don't need any additional markup. Now, note, images is a void element, so it cannot have any children underneath. So we're gonna need to apply this on the div itself. So what I can do is just do a container like that, and I'm gonna position this relative. And now I can do a container after like that. So if I add a position absolute, top left 0, we'll do a width of 100% and a height of 100%. And now if I apply a background color of maybe black and a Z index of 10, just so it sits on top, and it doesn't work. Why? Well, I told you that we need this content even if it's empty for the styling to work. So as you can see, well, after I apply that, it appears on top, and then I can do an opacity of maybe 0.2 on this to darken it up. And as you can see, I have full control over this now, and I haven't added an additional div here to overcomplicate my markup. Did you know you can also style the bullet points here at the beginning? You can use that with marker. So if I go here and do a marker, I can do a color of, let's do a nice coral. And if I hit save, as you can see, we can also change that. And that applies to ordered list as well. You can also customize the selection color of this. So by default, it's blue. But if we head over here and do a selection pseudo class, I can change the background color of this to something like pink. So if I hit save, as you can see, when I grab the elements now, they turn pink. We can also customize the placeholder color here if we want on our input. So if I add the pseudo class of placeholder, as you can see when I hit save, we are gonna change the color of it. So that's gonna be it for me. Hope you enjoyed this episode. If you know any cool tips and tricks with pseudo classes and elements, write it down in the comments down below and I'll delete it. That's gonna be it for me. Drop a subscribe down below, check out my courses, and subscribe to my Twitter for shorts, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye bye.